First, Mr. Fain, I totally agree with you. My practice as a physician was in a hospital for the uninsured. Folks want jobs and they want decent pay. I agree with that entirely. There's a little bit of confusion in what we're saying. I just want to put out some of that confusion. When you say people are working longer to make more money, well, if you just cut them down to 32 hours a week, they're still making the same money. So for them to grow their income, they would have to either work overtime and or take a second job. And yes, there's companies that work 24/7, but the people don't work 24/7. They work 40 hours a week, or apparently on average 41.3 hours per week. So I think we have to be kind of clear on that. And lastly, of course, productivity is not more hours to make the same money. Productivity is more work per hour. And it's oftentimes aided by machines, in which case there's less wear and tear on the body. Not to say that there's not wear and tear on the body. We think of construction workers, but still, that's the whole point. So, Dr. Shore, when you mentioned that decreasing hours worked per week increases productivity, it makes total sense to me. When I go to Spain and go to McDonald's, they don't have somebody at the front desk to take my order for a hamburger. They've got a machine that I push a button on and it dispenses it. And our Department of Labor has said that if we raise minimum wage, there'll be a net loss of jobs because people will automate in order to decrease their labor cost. So how would, if you're speaking of a service industry, why would raising their labor costs by having fewer hours worked per week for the same salary be any different than raising the minimum wage in terms of an incentive for a net loss of jobs by replacing workers with automation?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Let me just respond.
Real quick.
Yeah, 2 points. One is we're seeing no increase in overtime, in second job holding in our studies, by the way. But the impacts that we're seeing here are not labor displacing because people are able to make up that productivity in the 4 days that they had in the 5 days. Yes.
That surprises me because I just intuitively, I'm a doctor, so I intuitively when I read about the Temple nurses working shorter hours, I'll just say that according to the Pennsylvania Hospital Association, 30% of RN positions are unfilled. And apparently Temple University Hospital spent $55 million for nurse overtime because of a nursing shortage. So I'm not sure how to square that because they worked less hours, but they had to pay more for overtime and or for others.
These are for their nurse managers because the other nurses are on these like 3-day schedules and so forth. So, and this was put into place at 2 years after the pandemic started.
So the nurse managers are working less, not the RNs themselves.
Correct.
Okay. Well,
so they haven't, because they're not on 5-day schedules, so they haven't.
I'm almost out of time. I'm going to move. Mr. Leland, right now we're trying to get a health bill. The best I can tell, my staff is working 80 hours a week. Because anytime they call me on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Monday on a holiday, they're fully prepared and obviously there. When y'all have got a big crunch time, deadline has to hit, boom, you got to move. Like people still only work 32 hours?
No, it's a norm, right? This is not pencils down at 32 hours. It is the question of, well, what is your standard work week that you're flexing around?
That's all I was going to check.
Good afternoon, friends. Wow, this is important news for some Americans. Lawmakers in one state have confirmed that there remains over $4 billion in rebate checks. State officials are urging all who meet the eligibility requirements to claim this and take action. This is before the upcoming April deadline. So today, friends, I'll be going over what you need to know. So please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also, friends, in a video later today, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaway, friends, do make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Oregon taxpayers have already claimed a substantial portion of the record $5.61 billion revenue tax kicker this tax season. Oregon taxpayers have already claimed a substantial portion of the record $5.61 billion revenue tax kicker this tax season, which totaled nearly $1.6 billion. However, there is still over $4 billion in kicker surplus awaiting claimants, according to the Oregon Department of Revenue. With approximately 950,000 tax returns received out of an expected 1.2 million for 2024, there's still a significant number of taxpayers yet to file. Megan Dennison, the administrator of the agency's Personal Tax and Compliance Division, stressed the importance of not waiting until the last minute to file. She urged residents of Oregon who are owed a kicker to promptly file and claim it. This year's kicker represents the largest in the state's history. Taxpayers in Oregon can claim their kicker when filing their state tax returns. The amount received is based on the taxes paid for 2022, meaning higher income earners are likely to receive larger kicker payments. To facilitate the process, the Oregon Department of Revenue has introduced an online tool called What's My Kicker, which allows taxpayers to easily determine their kicker amount by providing their name, social security number, and filing status. The kicker rebate is triggered when state tax revenue surpasses initial projections set at the beginning of the budget cycle. According to state law, any surplus must be returned to taxpayers as a rebate. However, experts say it is important to note that if you did not file a 2022 Oregon income tax return or did not pay any Oregon state income tax before credits, you will not receive an Oregon kicker when filing your state return. For federal tax returns, the IRS offers free guided tax preparation for individuals earning $73,000 or less per year. Furthermore, the IRS supports two programs offering free tax helps. It is a volunteer income tax assistance program and the tax counseling for the elderly program. As for the state income tax returns, the Direct File Oregon platform was recently launched, allowing taxpayers to file through revenue online for free. And this initiative is part of a pilot program through the Internal Revenue Service. Also, friends, according to Yahoo News, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen expressed skepticism that market interest rates will return to pre-crisis levels in the wake of the crisis. Yellen noted that the new projections align with forecasts from the private sector, indicating a shift in market realities. There's ongoing debate among economists about whether interest rates will revert to pre-crisis levels or remain elevated in the long term. Yellen also emphasized the importance of incorporating reasonable assumptions into budget planning, which are consistent with various forecasts. The new White House projections, part of President Biden's fiscal 2025 budget proposal, anticipate higher average rates on a 3-month and 10-year U.S. Treasury bills. The increase in interest rates on the mounting U.S. debt adds a substantial burden to the overall deficit and debt figures. According to current projections, the White House anticipates that the United States will allocate approximately $890 billion, equivalent to 3.1% of gross domestic product, towards net interest expenses this year. Secretary Yellen made these remarks while visiting Kentucky to promote the economic policies of the Biden administration. This effort reflects her intensified focus this year on engaging with domestic audiences in preparation for the 2024 elections. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dearest friends, thank you so much for being part of the community. To say thank you, I will be announcing several winners for the Walmart gift card giveaway in a video later today. So make sure, friends, that you enter the giveaway by clicking and liking several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning these giveaways.